Okay, it's a few minutes early, but I wanted to make sure the sound is working and make sure that everything else is working. So, if you're here and you can hear me, then shoot me a comment or something. Uh, Otherwise, I'll just sit here and twiddle my thumbs for a few minutes. Um, I'm going to start. Well, no, I'm not going to start my timer yet. I try to keep these lessons at about 15 to 20 minutes for a couple of reasons. One, uh, I think that's a really good length for a drawing lesson. And two, I do this out in my office, which is off the garage. And the problem that I have is that I have to turn off my air conditioner so that you can hear me because my office is very small and my air conditioner is pretty loud. And so if I don't turn it off, then you might hear me and you might not hear me so well. The only problem with that is it is blistering hot here in North Texas right now, and so it gets pretty warm pretty quickly here. So that's another good solid reason why I keep these lessons short. Um, Again, if you have questions that you want to ask or anything like that, you can write them as comments, and if I see them, I'll with us every week because I am going to be doing this every week from now on Thursday afternoon, and I'll say more about that in a few minutes when we actually officially go live. I know we're live now, but the class isn't supposed to start till 3, so I'm holding off on getting started, and uh, so I don't know what else I would say. I've still got 2 minutes to use up here, so uh, I'm sitting here in my rapidly heating up office, waiting to get the class started. I think we're going to have fun today. I hope that you have got your pencil and paper ready. I hope you have got your uh, your photo that you're going to work from or your object. Again, it doesn't have to be the same thing I'm working from, but you need something to draw. And you might have fun drawing the same thing that you drew last week, whatever that was, uh, because you'll see the difference as you begin to learn more about how to sketch and draw what you see. So I've got 2:59, so I've got 1 minute here, and we're going to get started. So hang in there, get your pencils and papers out, and I will be back in just a minute. Well, hi, it's 3 o'clock, and that means it's time for See the Light Live. I'm Jim Pence, and I'll talk more about that in just a minute, but I'm glad you joined us. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Class is going to run about 15 to 20 minutes, so I'm going to start my timer to remind me that I shouldn't go on forever. Um, Let me shift gears here just a little bit. I want to turn off these layers, and that's me in case you haven't seen me before. This was at the Anchorage, Alaska airport, and we were flying back from a week in Anchorage last November, and I got a picture with one of my heroes as I was growing up, Snoopy. Loved Charlie Brown and Snoopy and still do. So I want to give a shout out this week, if she's watching, to my granddaughter, Ellie. She's the bigger one on the right. The little one is Eva, but Ellie lives out west of us, and she is interested in art and drawing, and so she may be watching. I told them about it, and so hopefully Ellie is watching and enjoying the class, and if not, she'll probably get to watch the replay. So let me turn that off. This week we are going to continue learning about contour drawing, and if you remember last week we did what was called a blind contour drawing of this pumpkin. And all I did was, and the way you do a blind contour drawing, if you missed the class last week, is you put the object off that you're drawing, or the picture you're drawing from, off to one side of you, and you put the paper that you're drawing on off to the other side of you, so that if you're actually looking at what you're drawing, you can't see your paper. And then you just slowly trace your eye along the object that you're drawing, and as your eye follows the contour of that object, whatever it is, whether it's this pumpkin or something else you chose to draw, as your eye follows that contour, then you have your hand or your finger follow along. And I always tell my students, just kind of imagine that your hand and your eye are connected by by a wire, and as you move your eye, it is going to pull your hand right along with it. So you just go all the way around and you draw the contour of what you saw. And if you have tried it, and I hope you did this week, I said to try to do one at least every day. If you tried it, then you probably saw some pretty strange drawings, and probably created some pretty strange drawings, because I always do. My contour drawings are often kind of a mess, and sometimes they don't even remotely look like what I was trying to draw. But that's the point, is you're learning how to make your eye and your hand work together. And the more you do that, the better you'll get at it. And again, it's something that ideally you should do fairly regularly. It's a great warm-up if you're going to start drawing a picture or whatever. Spend about 5 minutes just doing a contour drawing of something, anything, and it kind of gets those drawing juices going. Well, this week we're going to move on from that. We're going to draw what is called a modified contour drawing, and it's still pretty similar process, but there is a change, and the change is this time you are allowed to look at your paper, but you still want to spend most of your time looking at the object that you're drawing. So in this case, I'm going to be drawing this pumpkin again, and I'm going to keep my eye focused mostly on tracing around the object, but I am going to look back and forth to what I'm drawing. And so, and the reason you can do that this is helpful is you can make sure that your hand isn't just going way off into Neverland and you're just drawing a squiggle. You can kind of keep yourself on track. But remember, probably 90% of the time you should be looking at your object, not at your paper. It's better to, you just kind of glance back and forth, make sure you're still on track, and then, you're going to be fine. So I'm going to be drawing this again, and incidentally, I'm using a different program, digital program this week. I'm using Art Rage, which, and the reason I'm using it is because it lets me actually pin a picture to my desktop or my my screen, and so I have something to look at. And so what I'm going to do is shrink that down just a bit so it fits in a little bit better. So let's put that up there. And I want to show you, I did a quick contour drawing of this pumpkin just a little while ago, and that's what I came up with. So, it obviously looks a little bit more like what it's supposed to look like. There are some problems. I got a little bit off of the proportion here on this end, and this pumpkin underneath isn't exactly right. But the idea with a modified contour drawing isn't necessarily to produce a finished drawing. This is still a learning exercise. So what you're trying to do is, again, teach your hand and eye to work together. So, and I say that so that when you do this, don't feel like you're having to produce a finished, perfect picture. In fact, one thing I tell both my art students and people that I'm working with, because I'm a writer and I'm an editor, and when I teach people writing and teach people art, I say the same thing. Give yourself permission to be bad. And I don't mean be bad like being a bad person, but I mean give yourself permission to not draw perfectly or to not write perfectly. Give yourself permission to make mistakes, because that's how you learn. So with that in mind, I'm going to clear my layer out here, and I'm going to start again. So if you're ready, let's do a contour drawing. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on it, so just draw along with me. The first thing I'm going to do, make sure that I'm in my pencil tool, and I am, and I've got kind of a purple, oops, I'm on the wrong layer. Let's get up here to where I'm supposed to be. There we go. Still not drawing. Oh, there it is. It's just a little bit slow. Sometimes my computer has problems catching up with me. So I'm going to undo that. And let's see. Okay, it's going to be a little slow today, but that's because a lot of resources are going toward making this live. So I will try not to let my hand go too fast, but that's good because in contour drawing it's not really supposed to anyway. So, and I'm not even having a lot of luck doing an undo here. Let me see if I can erase. Yeah. Okay, yeah, there's some lag, so just bear with me as I draw. Okay, and let me go to more of a black color. And okay, let's start. I'm going to start with my eye right up here at the kind of the tip of the stem. So that's where I'm going to put my starting mark. And then I'm going to just follow it down. And oh, okay. And this time I am kind of looking back and forth as I draw. Still not drawing very fast. And it's obviously being very spotty because my computer is giving me trouble. Maybe partially this app. I may have to use a different one next time. But let's see if I can make it work. Okay. And it's catching up just slowly, but again, I am looking both at the object I'm drawing, the object I'm trying to draw. This is one of the joys of digital art. Sometimes it doesn't work the way you want it to work. And when it doesn't, it can be really frustrating. Okay, so I'm having to do this in more short spurts, but the idea for you would be to keep kind of a steady stroke. And I'm kind of tracing around the bottom there. And I'm coming up the far side. And it's not looking good at all, folks. But I'm going to press on, because even when things don't work right, in art, you just keep going, and you make it work somehow. Okay, so I'm going to come back up here to the top of the stem, and I'm going to pull it down. And I'm having to draw many, many more times than... This is not a great advertisement for ArtRage, but actually ArtRage is a really good program. It's just my computer that's not so good. It has problems keeping up when I do too many things at once. And it's telling me, you're doing too many things at once. Okay, so I'm coming across the front of the pumpkin here. Okay, and normally this would just go real time, but it's just a mess today. And it's not cooperating with me at all. So what I would be doing if this were working right is I'd be tracing my eyes down every single line here that I would bring each one down, and I would be coming around this way too on the other side, and my computer would be working with me and trying to help me, but it's not helping too much. Whoa, I don't know where that line came from. That wasn't supposed to be there. Okay, well, that's a really horrible drawing, but that's again something that typically does not happen when you're trying to do a contour drawing. Let me see. I don't know if I switch to a marker, if that will work better. It probably won't. Let me see. Well, it was a little bit better for a second, but now it's breaking up again. Okay, well, my drawing was a mess and a wash. Hopefully yours is going to be better than that. I should have saved my other one because it looked a lot better than this. But that's what happens sometimes with again, when you're dealing with technology. Technology is great, except when it doesn't work. And part of the reason I'm doing these lessons early, or doing these lessons right now, is I am trying to work out bugs and make sure that everything is working right, because beginning in September, this will be a regular weekly class, and I haven't decided exactly what we're going to focus on. One thing that we will be doing is it will all be pencil and paper, maybe some colored pencil work. So you won't need a lot of supplies. I will be working digitally quite a bit, assuming that I can solve my computer problems. But I am also set up so that I can work with real media, and you can watch me draw on regular paper and pencil. So I may end up having to do that too, but that's another technical thing I'm going to have to experiment with. So the temperature here in my office has already gotten to where it's getting uncomfortable. So what I'm going to do is just remind you of what's involved in modified contour drawing, which is you're going to draw, but you're going to keep looking back and forth at your object. You're going to go from the object you're drawing on to the object, or drawing from, to the paper that you're drawing on, but your eye is going to mostly be on the object, and then you're going to just check back and forth with the paper to make sure that your hand is where it's supposed to be. You won't have a perfect drawing, but it will be better than last week. So with that in mind, I'm going to wrap this class up because my computer is not going to let me do much more than what I did right here. And I will go back to the drawing board and make sure that I can figure out how to solve that problem so it doesn't happen again. But next week we will be back and we will do another drawing lesson. I'm not 100% sure what we will do. It's going to be more some more exercises to just kind of warm up exercises to get you going in your drawing. Um, One may be vase faces if you've never tried drawing a vase face. They're a lot of fun. And they're also a way of learning contour drawing. So that may be one thing that we'll do. But we will be drawing next week, and I will have gone back to the drawing board, and we will have figured out what the problem is. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being a part of See the Light Live this week, and I look forward to seeing you next week too. I'm Jim Pence, and I think that's about all for today. See you next week.